we're children, all of us have dreams, not necessarily knowing how to get from A to B. There's moments where I thought, okay, what do I still want to do this? I know that this is my dream.
From gamer to pro racer, Jann Mardenborough's life inspired the film Gran Turismo. He joins us for an exclusive interview in Dubai and takes us through his incredible journey from the virtual world to the fast-paced reality of professional racing. How is life since the film was released?
Busy. It's been it's been flat out. So the movie release date has been kind of set in certain regions of the world for a time, knowing the date. But I've been busy before and afterwards because I wanted to use that to maximize my racing career.
Let's first talk about the film itself. How true are they to your real life events?
It's very close. Of course, there's some scenes that are a bit more exaggerated, but there's a lot of truth in those exaggeration scenes. So the one that people talk about the most is because I think it's the one that they relate to, is the family dynamic between me, my brother, and my parents. So in the movie, it shows that me and my dad were he was very against the racing. We didn't get on board until quite late on. Whereas in reality, it was more quick. Mm-hmm. But the moment I spoke to my father that I've entered this competition, it was him and my brother downstairs watching football. He kind of looked at me and went, "Yeah, righto," and then continued to watch the football. Whereas I spoke to my mother and she was immediately, "Oh, fantastic, let me know how you get on." So, of course, that's shown in the movie. It's a bit more exaggerated with my father, and secretly he always wanted me to become a footballer and follow in his footsteps. But
makes sense.
Yeah, but he's happy that I'm what I'm doing now.
I think because it's so unprecedented, there has never been a gamer who became a professional driver. You can understand why your parents were skeptic about it.
Well, the industry didn't exist when they were children, when they were my age. When I was 19, this wasn't a thing. You can't become a professional in an industry, in a real industry, from the virtual world. It's something I understand very clearly now.
But looking at youngsters today, so yes, gaming is huge. Do you think more people can translate that to the real world, to real professions?
I think yes, they can, because I'm proof, and now there's a movie about it. So there's an undeniable stack of evidence there that it's possible. Whereas when I did it, there wasn't.
And you stayed focused. I think the mental strength is such an important component in racing in general, but for you especially, being the underdog, coming into this world and having to prove everyone wrong.
As you said before, the risk, and that's something which I was aware of being 19 at the time, the risk of having a big company, like by the time it was Sony PlayStation and Nissan, they're throwing all this resources at me, one person, me, to become the best racing driver I can be, and the risk that they hold as well.
And the responsibility and the pressure on you. How do you deal with that amount of pressure?
The pressure that I have that I put myself personally is more than any other industry or person that can put on me, because I know that this is my dream. So I need to make it right.
You started gaming when you were 8 years old. Mm-hmm. But at that time, could you have such a dream of racing? There was no prior example to be able to even translate the dream of gaming to racing.
Well, that's what dreams are, right? Like when you're children, all of us have dreams, but not necessarily knowing how to get from A to B to achieve that. That's why it's a dream.
Racing was your dream?
Always.
Always.
So I played racing games because I was around age 8. I started reading car books, watching it on TV. Then the games with all these different types of cars I'd never seen before, it all converged into one. And then once I had an idea of what a job was, maybe 3 years later when I was 11, had the concept of what a job was. So, okay, I want to do that. And, okay, I don't know how to get from A to B. And certainly when you get to a teenage, you start to understand how the world works. And it's like, okay, that's going to be quite hard to do, but I'm not going to let this light go out. When I won the competition, I was at a racing shop where you buy racing stuff, equipment, socks, helmets, all the racing stuff you need. And it's the cost of those things which is... I understand why it's expensive, because it has to be fireproof.
Would it be fair to say that you have to come from a wealthy family to
Yes.
join racing?
It's always been like that ever since motorsport was a thing. It's been expensive. Because racing is expensive, so you need to either come from wealth, or you have sponsorship, or you're in that circle of people. It's always been like that. The competition which I entered wanted to cast a wide net to see, okay, are the people currently in the sport the best that they can be, the best? And with many people play Gran Turismo, so it's okay, if you can find somebody who's fast at this, maybe they can be fast in the race car. And that's where I came in. And so this is where Sony, PlayStation and Nissan, that was their ambitions. Okay, let's take him, because he's clearly fast here. And so I knew that responsibility. So I've got all this responsibility now, and I have to perform.
Just that now your story is out there, and the whole world knows who you are, how you got to where you are. I want to go back to the film for one moment. Read, you were your own stuntman, which is pretty crazy, because your life and career to me are dangerous enough. There are parts of the movie where I had to close my eyes. So you perform the stunts in the movie. How involved were you with the script?
Very. So
really?
I had every script through, and I remember getting the first one through, I think it was 2019. And of course it was the first script. I wasn't happy with it, because it's the first script, it's the first draft. But Sony Pictures, they were very aligned on pleasing me and making sure that I'm comfortable with it. So we spent 6 or 7 hours going through line by line, word through word, and I would be saying, look, I'm like leading the whole Zoom call with 30 people from Sony Pictures, saying, wouldn't say that, that's not right, that needs to change, the racing wouldn't happen like that, I would never say this cannot be in there. And they were very receptive. They took everything on board. And then the later scripts, again, same thing. And it was a partnership, because we were aligned on, they wanted to put out something which is representative of me, Gran Turismo, and the racing community, and something which is real.
What were the most challenging moments of your career?
So the people that watch the movie, there's a scene in Germany at a racetrack called the Nürburgring, this infamous racetrack. And there's an accident which takes place where the car takes off like an aeroplane, and it goes into a crowd where somebody was killed.
You almost stopped racing after that.
I was in the hospital. I was fine. I just had bruising, but there's moments where I thought, okay, what do I still want to do this? You have to answer that question. It's a difficult question to ask yourself in any industry, but for me, it's like that's the one question. Sometimes, well, not sometimes. At that moment in time, I was afraid of asking myself, because I didn't want the truth would be very obvious. Fortunately, it was yes. It's always been yes.
How did you overcome that?
Very true to myself. It's like, do I still want to do this? For a period of time, or even now, there's I cannot stop. It's what I want to do, and also from what has happened at that accident with somebody losing their life, it's like for me just to go, I'm gonna stop. I can't.
That was the lowest point?
Yeah. That's been of personal life, but also career. But it's in the movie. When I saw it in the script, it's difficult to read through. It's difficult to remember.
Now you've been many years in the racing world, so maybe there are certain things that surprise you initially that you can't even remember because it's all normal, but are there any misconceptions that you remember encountering or thinking of when initially becoming and transforming into a professional racer?
I believed that the speed was everything. The stopwatch is the number one thing in terms of what you judged on, which isn't the case. That took me years to kind of understand, and it's only recently I started to understand that. Certainly being fast on the stopwatch is very important, It's still something I regard highly, but it's not everything. And that was a real kind of blow, because it was naive. Now it's naive for me to think, okay, if I'm just fast, I can just go, yeah, I'm fast. That's clearly why. But there's other things that you need.
Like what?
You need people. You need a gunner. You need a rear gunner. You need somebody politically who's got your back. You need to understand the political situation. You need to be aware when to jump ship to a different team. You need to survey your. It's like war. You need to surveil your surroundings. You can't just rely on the fact, yeah, I'm fast and I don't need to think about anything else.
I believe the best moments in your career are ahead of you, but if you can share the best moments so far.
I believe that also. I always believe that. I always find it strange when people talk about school. For me, it's always the best is yet to come. My best moments is two. So one of them is winning GT Academy, and I'm very fortunate to have not only photographic pictures from there, but video, but also now there's a movie portraying those scenes. So when I'm on the podium, that's the best moment when I got announced. Now it's on all three kind of. What's a movie? It's on video, but also I've got photographs of it. And then another joint one was 2016. It's not shown in the movie, but I won my first Formula 3 race, and I've won or been on the podiums of bigger kind of championships, but that race in particular was a breakthrough moment for me in terms of my personal development, which is important because I did this championship previously in 2013 and I'd been racing a year and a half, and I was very bad. I really struggled to get to grips with the car. And then I had the chance to do the championship again, but in Japan, and it clicked.
Is it the win? Is it the recognition? Is it knowing you can do it?
It's knowing I did it. I've mastered the car, and the proof was winning the race. This race I won by 15 seconds.
15 seconds.
Yeah, it was in the wet.
Isn't that like a year?
It's a big margin, and it really is. But it's my proudest moment because of the hardship, what happened 3 years prior, where a podium or a win was so far, because the car was good. I was in a very good team, but because I was so new, and learning this car was so difficult.
So now looking at gamers and youth and seeing that your story has inspired so many people, using our platform, what would you like to tell young people, whether it's following their dream or gamers who aren't sure how to translate their skills into other professions? What do you tell them?
Well, my wish for people to watch the movie is, you can achieve anything in life which you set your mind to. You can do anything. You can't be everything, but you can do anything. Don't speak about your dreams. That's my personal belief. If you speak about your dreams, you take power away from them. It's something which I've been noticing online. I've got messages from people, and they'll say, the movie's inspired me to follow my dreams, but they'll never say what that dream is. It's almost as if people have the same thinking. For the gamers, you live in a world now where gaming is bigger than Hollywood. It's massive. The industry, there's never been a more lucrative time, opportunistic time to get involved in that industry, to whether that be in actual game development or being a content creator. The best time is always, it's now. But fundamentally, it's for people to follow their dreams.
Follow your dreams. Jann, thank you so much. This has been a real pleasure, and thanks for visiting us here at Khaleej Times.
It's been great to talk to you.